I feel like you're safer going with the SARM.
A disclaimer and a warning to anybody that's about to watch this video. The views and opinions in this video are just that, views and opinions. Everything you see is going to be done for research and entertainment purposes only. I do not advise nor condone the use of anything you're about to see in this video. Everything is just for entertainment purposes only. Whatever you do with the information you get from this video is all up to you, but ultimately, don't be stupid. So I guess I'll first start out about how this bromance came to be. Yeah, Nick, you were following the podcast and I think you slid into my DMs. And
That's
then
true. That is very much how that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a very special moment at the Arnold this past year. And
I was there too. I don't know if you saw me.
Yeah, well, actually, it's really good that you're here because Nick and I, the reason why we wanted you here is because we're going to tell you that me and him are together now. So he's gonna move to California, and so that's I apologize, but that's actually what this is all about.
Don't apologize. You can have it. I've been looking for somebody to take him off my hands for a while.
Yeah,
so it's fine. Absolutely fine.
Somebody wants to.
Always, brother. Well, I really appreciate both of you guys coming on here and helping me out get through all of this. But first, what do you guys do?
Well, we just started a wellness practice, and we do, your hormone replacement therapy, growth hormone replacement therapy. We also do a lot of other stuff, vaginal rejuvenation, skin rejuvenation.
Not bad.
Now, mind you, she's the medical professional and she does all of this.
I thought he was going to tell you that he was in IT. So I was going to let you, let him introduce himself as he's in IT.
Yeah, no worries.
I was going to tell you what I do.
Yeah.
But I work full-time in urology in Maryland, and I travel back and forth to run. I have a practice there for basically wellness and functional medicine. So I have one of those there and one here in Connecticut, but I also work full-time in a urogyn practice.
Cool.
So I do a lot of that.
Awesome. And where is here?
Oh, we are here right now is in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I work 5 days a week in Maryland.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like how Nick just jumped right to vaginal reconstruction. That's amazing.
Hey, I got to tell everything.
Dealing with me, really, he's just out there with everything.
Well, it is funny. Like the more you're with somebody who's a medical professional, all the things that most people are very quiet about go out the window. Like there's no more filters. Where filters are pretty much out.
That's great.
I hear everything.
Yeah, that would be like the first thing on my IG profile.
Especially like working in urology, you hear all kinds of things come from her.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys took a look at my blood work. What do you think?
Oh, I think obviously they're great. I'm actually really excited to see how things change. I don't think that your LDL was a big deal at all. It was totally normal. And actually in some labs, that's a normal reading. So I think this is going to be really interesting and fun to see. Totally normal.
So if, looking at my labs, if somebody did not want to jump on PEDs, is there anything that I would need to focus on to try to improve as far as like my actual lab work? Like to improve my physique. Yeah. Like if somebody, let's just say they're a healthy individual, their labs are similar to mine. They're kind of at a loss for answers to figure out why can't I develop more muscle? Is there one area that they can attack?
Your testosterone level is a 545, which isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but is it optimal for gaining muscle mass?
It's not optimal. Yeah, definitely not optimal for sure. Generally, and I do hormone optimization here, and that's kind of part of what the BRT is for women and men. That's a pellet, hormone pellets that are kind of implanted into your hip. So hormone optimization is a big part of what I do in my practice, especially in urology as well. So, I mean, yeah, you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm normal for, a regular person. And God, it depends on what urologist you go to. Some of them are like, oh, you're at 300. Awesome. Great. You're doing right. And people are like, no, I want some hormone replacement. Give me a cream, give me a patch, give me something. And depending on who you get, So, I mean, I work with someone that wouldn't actually do that for you. But for somebody like me who is into and understands the hormone optimization, I'm like okay, let's start this.
And then what did you say? You can implant something in someone's hip and that helps testosterone?
So actually they're bioidentical. So any testosterone that you're taking that's off the market. So say if I were to give you a patch or a cream or even, the injections of hormones, they are synthetic. Pellets are actually bioidentical. So they kind of match your body already. So those are something that are starting to be really popular because you don't have to worry about any side effects of what a synthetic medication would do for you. They're about the size of a grain of rice. Actually, most of them are much smaller, about the size of this pin tip here, or smaller. I mean, like itsy bitsy.
Awesome.
But either way, yes, you can implant pellets. Generally, a man would have to have, and you can have several hundred milligrams, generally about 16 to 2,000 milligrams.
And is something like that expensive?
Well, it can be. I mean, for a man, you only have to do it twice a year. It's generally between $750 to $1,000, depending on how much you need, and you do it twice a year. I'm trying to convert Nick.
I want to point something out too. So she said it, 700. What did you say?
About 700.
7 to 1,000. Yeah.
Depending on who's doing it and where you're at.
Synthetic testosterone is still, by the time you do it correctly with, controlling estrogen and everything of that nature, can be $200 to $250 a month. So comparatively, it's not that bad. And like she said, it's much better than taking 2 shots a week. I've been doing the 2 shots a week because that's how I've been.
It's changing the culture. Okay. This is hard for me. We have this argument all the time. Gosh, if you hate needles and you were going to go,
this would be somebody for you like you. Yeah, this is a perfect.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Especially that case.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know if it makes any sense, but the thought of a needle, well, especially that high frequency, but the thought of a needle freaks me out. But for some reason, implanting something in my hip, I'm just like, that doesn't sound too bad. But
it's really not.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to do a video of it today.
Yeah, I'll make a video of doing his Aunt Patty. So you can actually, you can watch tons of videos online about BHRT.
So what is something I can expect to see once I get my blood work after I've taken SARMs?
Well, obviously, you're going to have changes in your HDL. But, I've come up with all these solutions for you, which is so good.
Cool.
Because as soon as I heard about this, I was like, at first I was like, I'm not doing this. I do not do social media. I'm not going to do this at all. But then I was very intrigued, especially since, he told me about how you used to be really skinny and he used to be really skinny.
Yeah, we're
and
twins.
I really felt so sad for you that I really decided to kind of look into this. Obviously, lower HDL.
Yeah, so we're going to see lower HDL, I think, is your first thing that you're going to see. I think you're going to see higher LDL, which obviously means your total cholesterol is probably going to be higher. I think you're going to see a decrease in your testosterone levels, both, just complete and free. And I think you'll see a reduction in your LH and your FSH, which
I do wonder a little bit about, because I did watch, I think, part of the 3rd episode. He was talking about, we actually kind of had a debate about
arachidonic acid. Debate about.
Okay. So I have an opinion about it because I'll do a procedure and what I want is the inflammation, right? Because inflammation helps with healing. So just like he said, you're going to hurt a little bit worse, but inflammation will help your recovery. If I do something like microneedling on somebody's face and their face is red and all inflamed, I'm like, do not take any ibuprofen. Don't take anything anti-inflammatory, because the reason that I just put 24 needles in your face is because I want that inflammatory effect, because it's going to create the healing process that we want. I feel like people have way too many options and not enough information on all of these anabolic steroids that you really could just cut out all of it, honestly, and optimize your testosterone. We just talked about this.
Yes, we did.
Optimize your testosterone and take some ibutamoren.
Which your MK677, which you're going with. Yep. And
really do fantastic.
Yeah.
So I just, in all of, God, this is killing me. This whole conversation, I just was so frustrated because I just feel like so many people just are like, hey, what are you taking? You're really big. What do you take? What do you do? And then everybody gets a whole bunch of information from a whole bunch of different people that don't have any credentials. And just like you say, I love the beginning of your segments where you say, listen, don't do this, whatever information you get, that's your disclaimer.
Yeah.
That's great because you know how many people are going to try this anyway. So for me, a big part of it, knowing that, when we first started, talking, I was like, do you take anything? Like, are you clean? Like, I wanted to know because I wanted to make sure he was safe. And that's generally what kind of happened, where I ended up having this huge client base. You'd see like the waiting room. It was so funny. I worked at a wellness practice, and it was wellness and traditional medicine. And you would see like little old people with their walkers that wanted to go see like the vegan, doctor to be treated with food. And then you'd see like some guy who's like this sitting right beside him, and they're coming to make sure, I think I'm getting rhabdo, and do you think all this stuff.
It sounds a lot like Gold's Down in Venice.
It's funny. That's because I was listening to one of the podcasts that you guys had and some stories there, and it made me laugh because it's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
it was
that.
A little small gym, but yeah, this is how it went.
Yeah.
It started, and I told him I'm not going to prescribe you anything, but I will make sure if you tell me everything that you're taking, that I will make sure that you're okay. And that's kind of how I got into this. It got started with just finding out what all the different gear, because that's what people around here call it. I don't know if y'all call it gear.
Yeah, we call it gear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'd be like, it got so easy. I'd be like, all right, tell me what's your gear. It got so much easier after like the first couple of patients. I started learning the lingo, and I'm like, all right, I could do this.
That's awesome.
But I just want people to be safe. And I think that there's so many other ways to do it, to have the results that you want.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that you're doing this, because honestly, I think that this direction is going to be a safer direction.
Yeah. You had just recently brought up MK677. Not that I should put any weight on a commenter, but somebody had said something I'd never heard of before, but they're like, that's like swallowing a grenade. And I'm like, do you have any sources as to what kind of damage it's going to do to me? But obviously I don't remember what they said, but with something like MK677, like, is that doing any harm to me?
Can I say one thing quickly?
Of course.
MK677, ibutamoren, is actually prescribable as a legitimate growth hormone therapy.
Yes.
So I believe that he is completely incorrect. And this is another big problem, because some of these black market, we'll call them black market SARMs or unapproved drugs, are coming from China, and you have no idea what's in these powders. A lot of them are tested for anabolic steroids, prohormones, things that have very damaging effects in the body that are not MK677, ibutamoren. So how do you know what you're taking, and how can you accurately even make that statement? You can't.
You can't. But I work with, a compounding pharmacy who, has been tested. Their products are tested. It is something I can prescribe, the 25 milligrams, so, and it's been tested. So for me, I feel more comfortable doing, saying, okay, this is what you want to do. All right, I will give it to you, and so that you're not getting it from that guy at the back of the gym or wherever on the internet where it took 6 weeks to get there because you don't know where it actually really came from.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So then what, I mean, because you guys also talked about like my liver and stuff. How much damage is all this doing to me?
Well, with the
just so that way I can
steroids, I would be more worried, to be quite honest with you.
Same.
I actually am very comfortable with what your liver is going to go through it going this direction.
Interesting.
So I feel like you're safer going with the SARM. But if you were to come to me and you were to ask me that as a patient and you wanted my true honest opinion, I would go through all of the side effects of the anabolic steroids and I would go through all the side effects of a SARM and I'd be like, you know what? Look, I did it. Okay. Here's your list of pros and cons of what it is. I've already done that. And for somebody who really wishes that people would, do things the natural way, it's just not done that way. And I just happen to be in that culture because, I lived that life with him and, with my cousin and just, all the guys at his gym that are competitive.
Dave Fitz, all these guys.
Everybody that is competitive bodybuilder and all the people that have come to me for help. Listen, I've learned to suck it up and stop giving my opinion. But as I just have a different opinion for two reasons. As, medical professional and two, as a woman, because when I have people that are early 30s that don't have any children, or maybe they're not dating somebody at that particular time, and right now you're worried about yourself because you're in your 30s and you're whatever. But do you think about what it could do? Like, I'm like, you got to go freeze your sperm right now. Like, go visit a sperm bank, because when you do meet that woman or your wife finally starts pestering you to get pregnant, and you can't do it, guess what? You're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was actually a big part of the conversation with Tony off air, but he had asked me about fertility and I'm like, yeah, within the next year or two, it's definitely going to be, very important for me. So he recommended the low dose of Osterine, and that's why I'm just taking that SARM right now. So have you guys dealt with anybody that has taken SARMs and has had, issues trying to make a baby?
With SARMs?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That's huge.
No.
So
my fiance just got a big smile on her face then, because I'm sure that scared the shit out of her.
Heavy anabolic usage?
Yeah. Heavy anabolic. Yeah.
Well,
and I do deal with that a lot. And I did hear some of the drugs that he was talking about. And listen, I got my best friend works at Yale in fertility, OBGYN. They don't even talk about Clomid anymore. Clomid is no. There are so many other things. I mean, oh my God, I'm surprised if we even still have that in the US at this point.
Yeah. So what's better then?
What's better then is not taking all the anabolic steroids.
Right.
But no, as far as your fertility, I mean, God, I don't know the names of all the medications because I don't do the fertility part, but I do know that we talk about it and we complain all the time about how when patients come in and they say, oh, well, I've been taking this or I've been taking that. And I think we talked about HCG a lot,
and
which
it does
I would go with HCG. Honestly,
that's probably your best route.
Yeah. And I do. Actually, I do.
We do prescribe it.
I prescribe that. I prescribe that a lot.
And that's an injectable?
Injectable.
Yeah, which for you. But however,
it's in the fat.
Wait a second.
Uh-oh.
Because you can compound HCG, that is not your only option. You can take a troche, which is an under the tongue. So for you, that would actually, and it dissolves. So kind of like if you've ever taken any seasick medicine or whatever that you put in your tongue or nausea medicine, it'll dissolve. And actually that's a better way to take it than a pill, because you don't have to go through, your bypassing. So it goes straight into your stream. So you don't have just the option of HCG. So you have more options.
That sounds awesome. Right, yeah. So Nick, you're the mad scientist. What the hell is Osterine doing to me? You can get as in depth as you want, or as not.
We're both gonna. I mean, it's from a performance standpoint, or
let's start there. Performance
standpoint. I mean, you're going to see an increase in lean muscle tissue. And this has already been studied. There a 2007 study, they tested it at 3 milligrams, and the subjects gained 1.6 kilograms, I believe, on average of muscle mass. So there's no questioning that ostarine works.
You're starting at 10 though, right?
Yeah, I'm starting at 10.
We're already 3 times the dosage. So there's no way that you're not going to see a gain from this, assuming that your diet and training is on point, obviously. You know, you can't be in a caloric deficit and expect to gain weight, really.
Yeah. Is there what's the word or what is saying? It's point of diminishing returns.
Yes.
So my prescription is supposed to be 10 milligrams for 2 weeks, 20 for 4 weeks, 30 for 4 weeks, and then 20, 30, 40. Yeah, 40 for 2 weeks, I think only. So at any of those dosages too much?
Well, I've never seen anybody exceed 20 milligrams.
Sick.
So
I don't think anyone should exceed 20 milligrams, to be honest with you.
I'm sorry, you said you don't think anybody should?
I don't. Okay. Absolutely. I feel there are limits for reasons, especially being in this profession. And it's a supplement.
Yeah. I mean, it's again,
it's not been.
At what point does that drug start tapering off in its effect and start going the other direction with side effects? And I think that is the biggest thing that you have to balance. And if you look, I think the biggest thing you'll probably notice going to that 40 milligram dosage is probably going to be your testosterone levels coming down. I think the suppression is going to be higher.
I do too.
Because they had suppression even at that small 3 milligram dosage. Okay. So I just don't see any way that you're going to not see it.
Gotcha. So like 20 milligrams might be the sweet spot.
And to be honest with you, I've seen it in lab work already in people at 20 milligrams that they have pretty significant suppression.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay. So we're thinking
at that
20.
Point, you might want to visit the sperm bank.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. I'm not kidding either.
Yeah. I'm kind of in agreement with her on that. It's not a bad idea.
Because you don't know. And the studies aren't out there. And so what are you going to do? Like, because you've taken some, yes, I realize that, what's his, Tony?
Tony, yeah.
He's got like this whole team of people behind him. But listen, you could be the one person, or there could be lots of people, but you just don't know because they're not on a podcast that have exceeded. Trust me, I got people that come in and they're like, oh, I'm taking 6 azo and you're only supposed to take it for one every 8 hours for 2 days, but they're taking 6 at a time because they think more is better. And it's not. It's killing their kidneys or it's killing something else. And then I have to go fix that.
And how about duration? Like if I can I just cruise on 20 milligrams for like the rest of the year and be okay? Or is like, should I go like, I don't know, the next month and then call it a day?
Because we don't know the exact effects on every single person. Cumulatively, I think what you need to do is be frequently blood testing yourself. If that's something that you're thinking about in your mind, then in my opinion, there's no way you should be going more than 2 months without having a blood test done and making sure that you do not have those markers going bad. And I think that you would probably agree with me on that.
I agree with that. But then I also said something like really stupid earlier that he didn't think was important, but for me, because I check semen all the time, I actually think it would be smart to see, go get a semen test, have it counted and see if anything changes, because that is another variable that could be a part of this study. Does it change anything with your fertility?
I think that would be huge, actually. That's a great point. I don't think anybody's even remotely ever tested that. I have never seen any data.
No,
so you would probably be one of the first people on that.
Yeah, I really wish I had done that before.
So how long have you been taking 20 milligrams?
So I'm now on my first full week of taking 20 milligrams per day. And so far, everything that I'm striving for has been working out. Like the numbers in the gym are going up. My weight is going up, which is, to me, that's been the biggest marker of success, is the fact that I've been trying to pound food left and right. I've been training as consistently as humanly possible. And my weight has never gone above like 181, 182. It usually stays there and goes back down to 178. So the fact that now it's actually surpassed that in this short amount of time, that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so something is working. The protocol is to stay on this for 4 weeks and then jump up to 30 milligrams. But based off of our quick conversation thus far, you guys are thinking that maybe that's not even, I shouldn't even bother with adding more.
I really don't think so.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, just that ratio of gains to side effects. Is it really worth the very small piece that you may see?
Right. And are you happy right now?
I'm ecstatic right now.
Right. So you are extremely happy in the changes that you've made being on 20 milligrams.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for the sake of the study, but.
I mean, yeah, I know that's the, and it's not going to affect my decision, but I know it's not going to be the popular choice. I mean, people want to see me on all of the gear, all of the SARMs, because they want to see what the hell's going to happen. However, you're right. The risk reward, that's why I was asking, like, what's the point of diminishing returns? Like, if, I don't know, let's just put for silly, calculations, like let's say I'm like 10% better at 20 milligrams per day. If I take 30, is that going to give me 12% better? Like at that point, I'm adding so much more suppression to my body and test, I don't know if that's going to be worth it or not. So what can I be focusing on, or should I even be dealing with any like on cycle therapy?
Well, if we're talking on-cycle therapy as well for fertility reasons or for other health markers, that's
let's just go general health.
You can go down a rabbit hole with this.
Sorry. Okay. Then let's go fertility.
I don't think there really is anything to take for fertility on this cycle.
Mm-hmm. With what he's doing,
with what you're doing. I mean,
he's not on testosterone. Right?
He's not on testosterone. HCG is really the only thing, but I don't think that it's worth it in this application or necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And adding any other fertility, like I said, HCG, fine. That would be the only one I would recommend, but not Clomid. Nothing else would I say is worth it to take it.
Okay.
I really wouldn't.
Then how about post-cycle?
Testosterone, HCG.
Well, she's going to tell you that if the suppression doesn't come back, if your normals don't come back to where they were when you started, then hormone replacement therapy then becomes really your best option.
Right.
So how soon should my natural testosterone levels come back after I cycle off?
Boy, it's different in everybody, I think.
Well, are you saying, you're gonna continue in with the increase?
That I haven't decided right now. I haven't decided yet, but chances are I'm leaning more towards just staying at the 20 milligrams. And then I'll talk to Tony or I'll talk to you guys to figure out what's the best protocol for coming off.
One thing I want to say, and not to interrupt you at all.
No, please.
The longer that you go on, the more chance that suppression is not going to come back. And I think that people need to understand that. Mm-hmm. That's why these guys who use anabolics for years, they have tried to come off, and boy, were they in for a shock.
They're in for a shock, and then guess what they end up doing? They see me, and they want all of these things, and they try everything, and guess what? The last thing that ends up happening is I order a compounded tri-mix or a quadri-mix or a bi-mix, and guess what that is? That's an injection into your penis to try and give you an erection.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 45 years old.
I don't know. It's been,
so I guess I don't know if we got to the original.
Yeah, just like a protocol for coming off was the kind of the original question.
For coming off. I mean, I know Tony had spoke to you about taking the natural testosterone boosters. That's probably how much they're going to work. That's very debatable. But do I think that I would recommend that you take Tamoxifen or Clomiphene? No, I can't. I can't suggest that, and I don't think that any medical professional will suggest that to you.
So it would be like the HCG would be the way to go then?
HCG would be the only thing that I would say is ethically.
I honestly, that would be the route for you to go, especially with everything that we've talked about. That would be, and even the troches. I mean, like that would be great for you.
And I have to admit, I'm not as concerned myself because you're not taking a drug that converts to estrogen. So we don't have to worry about that estrogen rebound effect.
Right.
That's not going to be come into play.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the biggest thing. The testosterone will slowly come back up. If it's going to come back up, probably within weeks, I would say you should be back to where you were.
I would say that. I would agree with that. Depending.
Then that's assuming that your body recovers.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that would be like after like, let's just say I ride it out for 3 months. Is that still?
That was the next thing I was about to say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
But after 3 months, if you have your labs drawn after 3 months and you still have not rebounded to at least your baseline,
you're in trouble.
It's not exactly trouble. I mean, but you're going to need help.
Yeah.
You're gonna need
so after 3 months of use, if I test after like, so that's another question. Like when should I test? Should I test right as soon as I come off, or should I give it like a couple weeks and then get my blood work done again? Or
you could do both. It wouldn't matter because you can get tested right after.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I generally do people 2 to 3 months after, depending on which way they've gone.
You guys are freaking awesome. You've answered all of my questions and then some. I know you have your, I guess we'll call it your practice, but is there anything that you guys would like to promote or like guide people towards?
Even
if it's just your Instagram, that works too.
Well, you can see us on Instagram at Confidence360. But
I think it's Confidence
_360. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
On Instagram, _Confidence360, Confidence _360.
Okay.
And for us, we just want to see people be healthy and safe.
I don't care about promoting my brand or anything like that. I just really want to promote people getting the help that they need and getting the advice from the proper people.
Yeah. So is that your guys' company, or how is that working?
Yes, we're the owners.
I'm the owner of Confidence 360 in Maryland and in Connecticut.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys.
You can see my website, actually. I tell you that.
Yeah.
What we do, it's www.c360wellness.com.
Cool. Yeah. All the links will be in the description. So you guys might get a flood of emails here and there, but whatever. It'll be fun. Yeah.
That'd be awesome, man. We had a great time talking to you.
Likewise.
Yeah, it was really
that's such a really great conversation.
To meet you, because I hear about you all. Well, I guess I met you already, but like to actually remember that I met you, because everyone that I met at the Arnold, I was like kissing them. And if I didn't have a picture of me kissing you, I don't remember who you were.
Yeah, she didn't get that one with you. She didn't get that one with you.
That would have been bad.
And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, then I don't know who he is.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But I do hear about you all the time. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. This is great.